Time now for Morning Rounds, our look at the medical news of the week. Flu season is here, and its impact is being felt across the country.
According to the most recent numbers from the Centers for Disease Control, every single state except for Hawaii is reporting widespread influenza activity. This is up significantly from the same time last year. Here to discuss this flu season and more is CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus, who joins us from Los Angeles. Doc, good morning.
Good morning to you. That map is scary.
Yeah, why is this flu season worse? What's going on?
Well, the dominant flu strain this year is called H3N2, and whenever that is said, you see the hair stand up on the back of doctors and public health officials. That's one that's really hard to make a vaccine to, and it changes. So even if you make this vaccine, the virus itself can change. And so what we're seeing is, already about 60,000 cases, 6,000 hospitalizations, 20 deaths in children so far. This is a bad flu, and it's only beginning of January. This goes through May.
David, why is this particular strain more widespread this year?
Well, the strains are spread very easily through droplets. Somebody coughs and is talking. That droplet can go 2, 3, 4 feet and spread it. The more droplets you get, the quicker the onset between exposure and getting the virus. And this particular strain, the H3N2, again, is very hard to make a vaccine against. And when you do, the virus changes a lot. And so it's difficult.
Well, it's been reported that there's been a shortage of IV saline bags. How has that affected this landscape?
Well, with what happened in Puerto Rico and the horrible tragedy there, that was the dominant maker of these IV saline bags. So when a patient comes in, they've lost a lot of fluid, they need IV fluids. Believe it or not, we're rationing those bags. We also have very little of the flu medicines. Our inventory is low. And so supply chain management, critical in management of things like this, which is an epidemic with the flu. It's worried. I have to worry literally every day I go into the clinic. Do I have enough IV fluid? And I have to push and pull to try to get enough bags for my patients.
Wow.
All right, our next topic, something near and dear to many of us, are smartphones and other electronic devices. Smartphones are still a relatively new technology, and what we know about their impact on children in particular is constantly evolving.
JANA Partners, an investment group, and the California State Teachers Retirement System own a combined $2 billion in Apple stock. They wrote a public letter this week to the tech giant saying, in part, "We have reviewed the evidence and we believe there is a clear need for Apple to offer parents more choices and tools to help them ensure that young consumers are using your products in an optimal manner."
Apple responded, and at the top of their statement said, "Apple has always looked out for kids, and we work hard to create powerful products that inspire, entertain, and educate children, while also helping parents protect them online." David, kids are exposed to, smartphones, computers, TV screens. It's a lot of screen time. What are the real concerns here?
Well, there have been a number of studies done to really show that the more a child spends on a screen time, the higher the rate of suicide, the higher the rate of depression. And there's a beautiful study done that showed that if you take it away for 5 days, empathy goes up. You actually see personality changes in the children. So what these investors argued, and I love the fact that investors standing up to do the right thing. What they argued is that, the most creative company in the world, Apple, has to start to make software. We don't just turn off the cell phone. We actually do it in a way where a parent can control what a child looks at, how they do it, what apps they use, what kind of social media things they're doing, because this is a new generation. None of us actually grew up with these. And so we don't know many of the effects. We're seeing them now. But there certainly are implications that they could have negative outcomes in our children, and we have to really be aware.
David, how specific is that data? I mean, do we have information about specific apps and specific social media programs and their effect, or is it just broadly screen times and smartphones?
No, you hit it. It's broad data. I mean, so it's the more social media sites you're on, the more of these effects can be seen in children. But we don't know exactly what and how many minutes is right and how many minutes is wrong, for what age, at what maturity level. This is all new. And so obviously we as a medical community need to do more research. Apple as a technology provider needs to do more research, and together we need to figure out ways to do this appropriately and safely. So, there are good things to these cell phones and there are bad things.
Yeah. So we need a more collaborative effort, David, between the tech companies, parents, and the medical community.
Exactly, and it was a call to arms from an investor that brought this on. That's what's interesting.
Given the ubiquity of smartphones and the potential health side effects, it is urgent that that data get collected. Finally, we don't go to hairstylists for our health, but they could end up saving our lives, maybe. The issue is detection of potentially deadly melanoma, which sometimes shows up on the neck or hidden on the scalp.
Researchers showed hairdressers a special training video on spotting melanoma. After watching the video, the number of hairdressers who said they were very confident in their ability to point out possible melanoma lesions doubled, and their knowledge of the illness and its risks also increased. The study was published by the American Medical Association. That's an interesting way of working against this, David.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, they're looking at your scalp. I mean, most of us don't see the back of our scalp, the side of our scalp, and there's someone there every few weeks looking at it. They're part of the team, and we all have to work together to prevent disease. And this is a perfect example where we can actually make an impact.
Hairdresser, most women will tell you a hairdresser is an important person in their life. Never more so than now. Dr. David Agus.
Thank you for that word of advice.
Thank you for your words of advice, Doc.